Hello and welcome to the FIA European Truck Racing Championship. The fans were cheering for winner of the first race, Sascha Lenz, won with 9.9 seconds ahead. What a great start for SL Truck Sports this year's ETRC. And then came race 2, which unfortunately ended very quickly after collision with Antonio Albacete. Stefan Foust thought his truck was alright, but in the second turn he was not able to brake, so he had a massive crash into the barriers, but luckily it all went well. And we've got a guest right now from Team Tankpool 24 Scania. It's Rijk Schumacher, the chief mechanic. So we saw that a leading pipe to the spring-loaded brake cylinder went off. Is that what exactly happened? Well, what happened to Stefan Foust yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was a problem from the accident in the first corner. Antonio hits us, and so our air brake system was crashed, and he realized it on the first braking point.
And then afterwards he could not do anything else than let loose and just hit the barriers very hard, but fortunately the security was 100%, so everything went well. Yeah. So what did you do then afterwards? You had to repair everything during nighttime, I suppose.
Yeah, I think if you see it the first time, it was very, very important. But yeah, a lot of work. You see, we are driving now. We are happy. It was the whole night until 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we are so happy to drive again.
Until 5 o'clock in the morning, and you seem quite awake now, so the trucks are on the track. It is a bit quieter right now. How much work was it then? Was it any time where you thought it is in danger to racing today?
No, okay. First of all, you check the completely truck from the ground to the top, and all the special strangest things, the chassis, the axles, had no problems, and that was the best for us. So we have changed all the spare parts around. We have them all on our truck. We have them all transported and produced. So
yes, and sorry I need to interrupt you, but you're on track, obviously.
On track,
Thank you very much. So this is now our commentators this weekend with Chess Dreikert, and you've got the German commentary option, which is with Jörg Henning. So have fun. This is the first qualifying.
okay.
Thank you very much, Christina. Thank you very much indeed. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hungaroring and welcome to the second qualifying session of the weekend. This will set the grid for race 3 in the championship. And it is very, very good to have you all back, and great to see Stefan Foust back out there on circuit after that monumental shunt yesterday. But as Christina mentioned there, everything was absolutely fine safety-wise. The crews got the barriers fixed overnight, and we were very, very pleased that they could do that, because at the end of the day, without them and without the safety aspect of things being complete, we weren't able to go racing again today. However, we have trucks out on track, and race 1 winner yesterday, Sascha Lenz, is currently leading the train around. He's got Jochen Hahn right behind him. Now, Jochen had quite an interesting day yesterday, qualified 3rd. He went for a very, very hot lap at the end of the Super Pole session, where the top 10 trucks go out on track and try and gain pole position. And he just overdid it into turn 1, and from there, unfortunately, his lap never recovered and he did not get pole position. But he started 3rd on the grid, and after the demise of Norbert Kisch and his boost pipe issue, he gained 2nd place in the race, not before having a little bit of contact with Adam Lachko that was then deemed to be an incident that required no further action. But Sascha Lenz gets his foot down, and so does the rest of the field, to start their first qualifying laps of the day. They come steaming down the straight then towards us. Great to see the Team Lone Power truck hard on the brakes into turn 1. Now you're going to hear those Goodyear tyres squealing away today, working very hard indeed. It's obviously a lot cooler than it was yesterday, well, by the look of it right now. A lot more cloud cover than we had at this point of the day yesterday. So hopefully the drivers will have a bit of an easier time of it. But as you all saw yesterday, it is not easy here. Norbert Kisch getting very close to the bollard on the edge of the circuit there. Now, they have the physical bollards here to signify where the track limits are. So drivers can't really be deemed by a camera or a marshal, for example, to be taking the mick slightly with track limits. They have the bollards in place to just say, don't hit this, really. There's Antonio Alberthetti in the 23, just going through. He had a very lively day yesterday, as you saw. Qualified 6th on the grid for the first race, finished in 4th place, but then, of course, was the main catalyst in the incident at the start of the second race, which then got red flagged. And the result was completely cancelled from that yesterday as well, by the way, so that result and that race has no bearing on the championship. No points were scored. Nothing was taken from it. It was a complete reset. But unfortunately, we won't have the time to rerun that race. So we won't get to add that back on. Now, looking at the sector times, the fastest first sector was done by Sascha Lenz. This man here in the number 30 machine. 49.209 for him. 49.257 for Norbert Kish. So those two were on the front row of the grid yesterday, and it's looking like, straight off the bat, they're going to be the ones to beat again. Jochen Hahn was a couple of tenths of a second off, although he was 3 tenths quicker than Sascha Lenz in the middle sector. So I'm intrigued to see where he ends up in comparison, because it's not just about your sector times. Obviously, you have to balance your pace over the course of a lap. Make sure that you do the quickest time you can. That goes without saying. Lenz does a 2:18.231. It's a 2:18.5 for Jochen Hahn. He was half a second slower in the last sector, and Alberthetti has gone even quicker than him. It's a 2:18.3 for Alberthetti, 2:19.0 for Adam Lachko. He's nearly a second slower at the moment, but the times are much closer than they were yesterday. By the end of qualifying, we had just under 5 seconds covering the top 13 places. So it was quite a big spread. Kish goes fastest, 2:17.8. Over 4 tenths of a second quicker than everybody else. There is the number 24. Great to see the Tank Pool 24 truck of Stefan Foust back out today. And there's the number 20 of Theo Calve. We were on board with his Freightliner yesterday, and the number 24 as well. And we had some fantastic views from on board the trucks just to see the great battles that we were having as well. I believe we were also on board with René Reiner in the number 77 machine. But currently, it's Norbert Kish, top of the pile from Sascha Lenz. Antonio Alberthetti is in 3rd place, Jochen Hahn 4th. Andre Kurzim is in 5th, with Adam Lachko 6th, Steffi Halm 7th, and Theo Calve in 8th. Theo Calve at the moment is the highest placed driver in the Chrome category. There's 2 championships going on here. There's Chrome and Titan, 2 different categorizations. To be classed in Titan, you need to either be a champion in the last 10 years, you must have finished in the top 8 in the championship overall last season, or have any position better than 6th in any of the Super Pole sessions from the previous year. And drivers are only recategorized between seasons as well, so you will not see them change mid-season. If there is any Chrome driver that runs away with it, they'll just let it stand. So everybody's completed their initial laps. They tend to have like a cool-down lap now, just to let everything get back to the proper operating temperature. We have fans back with us again today, Hungarian flags being waved as well. Obviously fans of Norbert Kish and air horns alike as well. Even face paint on the go there for the young fan in the stand. But it's just so nice to see people back, really is. Absolutely love it. Now, here is Tom O'Rourke. He had a very difficult day yesterday because he qualified some 13 seconds off the pace in the MV commercial machine. And he confused me yesterday with that wreath on the back of the truck that says 20 years. Because I thought his truck number was 20 and it turns out it's 86. So that confused me on the grid. But the MV commercial truck racing driver hoping to have a better day because he retired from the first race as well. Not sure whether he just had some issues with the truck or whether he wasn't comfortable in getting used to it, but he's back out there and he's pushing hard today. He is unfortunately bottom of the pile at the moment, but he's only done an outlap, so this is his first flying lap. He's got a lot of clear air around him, so plenty of chances to get the job done. Now Sascha Lenz is coming straight back into the pits. I'm wondering how many others are going to join him on that. There's Norbert Kish, who is currently the fastest. It was a boost pipe failure yesterday in the race that cost him the win. He said that there was a test after qualifying, like a scrutineering test that causes a vacuum to test that the pipe is suctioned in at the right amount, basically, so no extra air goes to the turbocharger and gives them more power. But they believe that it was this test that damaged the pipe. And unfortunately, they lost that during the race. So pretty much everybody coming in now. We've got a few staying out. Teo Calvé, the first of them. That's Jamie Anderson in the background in the number 33. With a seemingly different coloured front wing, I think borrowed from his teammate there on the front left of that truck. And there we have Stefan Foust in the 24 machine. Hard on the brakes and into turn one. Teo Calvé flings the Freightliner through there. He said yesterday they don't get as much traction as some of the other trucks. But they seem to be doing a fine job of it at the moment. Here is turn two. It's a real balancing act around corners like this. Long, sweeping corners. You can sometimes go in a little bit hot, let the truck run wide mid-corner, and then get a really good slingshot on the exit. It seems like a lot of them just trying to hug the inside and keep the entire route round the corner as short as possible. Back up the hill then towards the kink at turn four. Chucks it in, gives the barrier a little bit of a warning on the way through, does Teo Calvé. Now watch out for Jamie Anderson in the black and blue number 33, because he started yesterday's race in 11th and ended up 6th. There weren't too many drivers that gained a bunch of positions through the races, but Jamie Anderson was one of the most exciting. Now there is the number 17 truck of Shane Brereton, one of my favourite liveries in the field. Number 17 Tour Truck Racing, that's TOR, flying the flag for Great Britain in the championship. There's a few British drivers, you know. We've of course got Tom O'Rourke as well, and Jamie Anderson. But there is the beautiful pit lane here at the Hungaroring, one of my very, very favourite circuits. And an absolutely awesome racing circuit. So difficult to overtake here, but it's such a technical track as well. You've got fast corners and slow corners, and some long sweeping mid-speed corners as well that can really catch drivers out. You'd have to be properly on your toes around here. But that's the pit lane, and you can still hear the screaming tyres, the Goodyears, on the front of Teo Calvé's truck as he still makes his way around, and into the final couple of corners they go. We should have Teo just coming through shot now. You can hear the turbo spooling up, boost pressure increasing as he puts his foot down. We have another truck out there as well, I believe. Is that Alia Koloc? It is. Yes, Alia is out there as well in 14th place at the moment in the number 29 Bagheera racing truck. One of 3 Freightliners that are being run by Bagheera. We have yellow flags though on the way down to turn 2. I think there was a yellow flag. Either that was a white flag to warn that there was a slow moving vehicle. That's Jamie Anderson, the number 33 man, really leaning it through turn 2, hard on the power down the hill through the right kink. You can see a bit of a cool down now for Teo Calvé and Stefan Foust. Just hear tyres squealing and turbos whistling. It's just some of the purest form of motorsport. You've got to love it. As a huge motorsport and just vehicle fan in general, I'm a huge fan of a combustion engine. It's like heaven to me. You just hear turbochargers all day and get to hear tyres squealing and trucks working very, very hard. It's great. A little bit more about the vehicles themselves then. They're 5.3 tonnes as a minimum weight, all of these trucks in the field. They're over 1,200 brake horsepower, limited to 100 miles an hour, but to get to 100 miles an hour, they use that 1,200 brake horsepower via over 5,000 newton meters of torque. They have incredible numbers to these trucks. And with the weight of them as well, obviously, with the shape of them, you can imagine the weight distribution is very much towards the front. You would be correct. Over 3 tons of that weight needs to be measured at the front wheels during scrutineering. So over at least 60% of the weight is over the front axle, which means that those front tyres are really having to work get these things turned in. A lot of them run very rearward brake bias, which is why we saw the issue with Stefan Foust yesterday. There's Jamie Anderson. Putting his foot down out of the final corner. Nice and smooth on the exit there. He's currently
engineer of Norbert
in
Kiss,
12th
you had a
place.
problem with the pipe yesterday.
Yes,
Did
exactly.
you solve it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a small problem with a big effect on the performance, unfortunately. But the problem itself was really small, so luckily it was an easy fix.
But Norbert Kiss said yesterday that after every check, the problem could occur as well. So how did you solve that, or did you need to recheck after the check?
Not really, no. The check is mainly to locate if you are trying to cheat and if you are not cheating at all with the restrictor. The problem is, when the check is done, it makes a huge stress on the engine. Of course, we should have checked this pipe after the check, after the diagnosis, and this is what we failed to do. So it was mainly our fault, of course, but luckily it was an easy fix. We just needed to replace the pipe that was damaged during the test, and that's all.
How happy are you with the first laps right around here?
Well, just like yesterday, so far so good, but let's wait for the race.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Back to you, Chet. Just to inform you, I can't hear your lovely voice right now, but I think it's marvelous.
Well, thank you very much, Christina. Yes, we have a little bit of an intercom issue at the moment, everybody, but we have all of our guys in the background trying to fix that, and we're very grateful for all of the effort that everybody's put in behind the scenes here for this broadcast. I must say, I'm actually commentating from back in the UK. I'm at my home studio at home, and Christina is obviously down there in the pit lane in Hungary, and we have very little delay between the two of us. We had some fantastic exchanges yesterday, and all of the guys and girls behind the scenes are doing a wonderful job at making this happen. We're very pleased indeed. Now, Steffi Halm has unfortunately gone down a position here. She's in the pits at the moment in 8th place. That is Tom O'Rourke, who has improved on yesterday. He's now 9 seconds off the top spot, but you do see a lot of spread between the times here, although there seems to be some sort of smoke or something coming from the front right wheel there of Tom O'Rourke's truck. I'm wondering whether he's cooked a brake or something like that, but he did have a problem yesterday and came into the pits, which we didn't really find out about. But yeah, there's definitely something coming off that front right brake there, at least. It seems to be coming from inside the wheel anyway. He's got René Reiner just behind him there in the blue and green 77 truck, the big Shell logo on the back of it. Now there's Jamie Anderson across the line. He's currently in 12th place. He's not really having the qualifying that he wanted. The truck was pretty damaged after the first lap of yesterday's race. As you can see, he's got the green front left wing on the truck there, which has been borrowed from his teammate, essentially, Sasha Lenz. Him and Sasha running very similar liveries this season.
Hello.
Sasha Lenz running under SL Truck Sport. And
We have a
back
goal.
with
That's
Christina.
really great. So it's Tim Frost here. Antonio Albacetti ranked 3rd right now. Yesterday you said you were very happy with the 5th rank, and you're 3rd right now. What happened? That's great.
So last night we were working till about 12 o'clock, so we made a few small changes ready for today, and yeah, we're very hopeful for today. Yesterday in the Super Pole we had a small problem with the gearbox, which is why we didn't qualify where we wanted, and it's why we were a lot quicker in the race compared to the likes of Steffi and so. So our race pace we are really happy with. It's just finding the little pieces for the qualifying to really improve. So.
And let's do not forget, we had a long-term break because the last season was cancelled so early. And you said you were a bit nervous. How is it today?
Today's okay. Okay, we worked long, so my sleep wasn't as long as I'd like, but you can't have everything, huh? So.
I think so too. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Back to you, Chas.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I think we could all have done with a few more hours last night, to be fair, but I really do not envy the teams and all of the officials and everybody that was up very, very late, not just fixing the circuit and the barriers, but of course the actual trucks themselves as well. They did a fantastic job of making sure that all of the trucks are back out there today. As we said, the body parts of Jamie Anderson's truck, maybe not all of its original pieces, but still great to have it out there. And of course that's one of the real upsides of being in a sort of team scenario with a second truck at hand there between Sasha Lenz and Jamie Anderson. That's René Reiner just coming into the pits on the right hand side of your shot there in the number 77. We've got somebody flying around the final corner, which I believe it is O'Rourke, and then Anderson just behind him as well. O'Rourke tries to improve. He's done a 2:27 as his best time, 3:18 last time round, but I think he had a bit of a slower lap. He was just calming it down. Stefan Foust has just come out of the pit lane as well. Now, is Jamie Anderson going to be that much quicker than O'Rourke that he's going to catch him on this flying lap? O'Rourke goes a little bit deep on the exit of turn 1, doesn't get the run that he wants. Down towards turn 2 they go. Now they take a very wide entry on the way into there to make sure they keep the truck hugged to the left-hand side of the circuit, so then fling it right through the kink at turn 3. And Anderson is definitely catching O'Rourke here. I think this is going to spoil Anderson's lap. I look at the first sectors, and Anderson is some 1.4 seconds quicker in the first sector alone. A little bit of a slide through the kink there, up into turn 5, long sweeping right-hander. You can hear even O'Rourke there just getting off the power slightly, lifting off and then putting his foot back down again. The turbocharger staying nice and spooled for maximum boost. The checkered flag is out though, so the qualifying session coming to an end. Across the line goes Alia Koloc. She is 13th at the moment, ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker in the number 25 machine. We haven't really seen Heinrich there. He's actually there on the left of his shot. Just going out of turn 1. Great scenes though here. Great scenes. Lovely conditions as well. The sun coming out now. There is the whole subframe at the back of the truck there. You can see how everything is mounted. The humongous engines that they have there. 13-litre engines with those whopping great turbochargers on that make the very high-pitched whistling noises that you can see. And there is O'Rourke across the line. He did improve his time in the end, actually. 2:25.5. So he's 7 seconds off the top spot. But it's a big improvement on yesterday, and potentially this is just a bit of a learning curve weekend for him, getting used to the truck, seeing how it handles, how to potentially mess with the setup between sessions. It's not all about just the driver learning how to drive the vehicle itself, it's how the team manage everything as well. And in just a moment, now that the session is over, we have a little bit of an interval before we go for the Super Pole session, where the top 10 will then go out on circuit and cement themselves in the top 10 spots on the grid. And there is O'Rourke just making his way back round then to round up his session, give the team his feedback, let them know exactly how it was handling, what was going on underneath his feet, and how they can potentially improve in other sessions. But like I said, yesterday it was 13 seconds covering the entire field. In qualifying today it's only 7, so a great improvement there from O'Rourke. And of course the conditions may be a bit easier for them at this stage of the day, where it's a little bit cooler. The track will give them a bit more feedback. But we have Christina down in the pit lane for a couple of interviews and to potentially speak to some drivers. Oh, not yet, apparently. There's René Reiner in the number 77. And there is your potential pole sitter at the moment. Currently fastest as things stand, Norbert Kisch, being moved to the end of the pit lane, being told to get further down that side so they can get him ready for Super Pole. Norbert not wasting any time at his home circuit in setting the precedent and setting the pace. Sascha Lenz, yesterday's race winner, is currently second ahead of Alberthetti, Hahn, Kurzim as well in 5th. Kurzim had a very big send down the inside into turn 1. of yesterday's first race, where he damaged the right rear on René Rayner's truck. And René was nursing a puncture the entire race because of that. So he's going to be happy to see Kurzim ahead of him on the grid for today's race, I imagine, in that number 11 machine. He's actually, ironically as well, Kurzim races for Don't Touch Racing this season. That's exactly the opposite to what he did yesterday, unfortunately for him, but still. Plenty of fun. And I thoroughly look forward to the next race, which will get underway later on this afternoon. We, of course, have qualifying the first session done anyway. We will then have Super Pole a little bit later on. And then the first race, the stream will go live at 11:20 UK time, 12:20 in Budapest.
So I'm standing here right at the truck of René Reinhardt. We're going to talk to the mechanics, but he said as soon as we get started. As you see, the trucks are lining up for the Super Pole, and René Reinhardt managed to get on the 10th spot. So if he starts going, then we can talk to the mechanics. Let's get over here and see what's happening. They're talking to someone over here over the Hungaroring. Let's see what's going to happen, because normally he should be speeding up right now. Maybe we can ask him. Sorry, what's happening? Okay. A little bit of tension here, so maybe I just give back to you, Chaz, or we would just have a wait.
Intriguing situation there. Maybe he's
a little
not being
bit
allowed out
unusual right now. René Reinhardt waiting here still. He should be the last lining up for the Super Pole. Seems they have a little problem, but as you might notice, it is more important that they solve it than we rather talk about it first, of course. So we just wait over here there, and I hope you are seated very well at home and enjoying this race weekend here with us on the ETRC Championship. It's Sunday. We're ahead of the Super Pole, and as you see, the mechanic Dominic is running around. There seems to be a little problem over here. He solved it very quickly. Great job by all the mechanics over here. So we gotta go now for the truck of René Reinhardt. So let's talk to Dominic, the mechanic right over here. Hi, Dominic.
Hello.
What was
Daniel.
happening? Daniel, sorry. What was, I said Dominic all the time, excuse me.
No problem.
So what was happening? Why did you have to stop?
Because between the session is a pack ferme. So you can make any change. You have to wait until the green light is on.
Okay.
And as we have been driving the whole time, we have no time in the middle to make the changes. But as you have seen, it's only green light, pair changes, and he can go again.
Okay, perfect. Because I saw you running around, you had to just a little thing, or was that normal?
Yeah, it was normal. It's a little change from the damper settings. It's click, click, click. But you must be done conforming the regulations. That is in the time that you can work on the truck.
Perfect. And so you're in the Super Pole right now, ranked 10th. Stefan Foust tried to overlap you, or tried to get a faster lap, and but you saw he didn't manage it. So how happy are you with the Super Pole position right now?
Now we are going to give this little plus that you give in the Super Pole, because now our idea was to save a little bit the tires, because this circuit is very, very exigent with the tires. As much laps to down, the tires a lot of performance. So our objective was just to use the minimum amount of the tire to be safe. But today the things are quite more closer than expected, and we was for a moment that was a little bit uncertain, that we don't know what to do. So he went out, and in the moment that we said that sector for the others was not so well, they said, okay, come in, we are safe.
Yeah, that worked out. Thank you very much. Good luck for the Super Pole. So chess, as you see, it is a bit like chess as well.
Yes, it is indeed. You have to be very, very tactical about all of this. And as I said before, you know, a lot of the front tyres on these trucks are doing a hell of a lot of work. They've got over 3 tons over that front axle, so they have to work so hard indeed. Hence the amount of noise that you can hear from the tyres when these guys are pushing the trucks through the corner as hard as they can, especially on downhill corners like turns 1 and 2, and even turn 3, the kink to the right as well. Very difficult to get right. The midsection of the circuit as well is so tough on tyres, because it's a very high-speed section of the track. You're going left and then right, and then left and right again, but you're still maintaining a lot of momentum there. There's not much braking and accelerating that goes on. You just sort of coast the truck through the corner. That's turns 8, 9, 10, and 11, which I'm sure we'll see a little bit later on. But this is Norbert Kisch, the hometown hero, as I've been calling him this weekend. He was on pole position yesterday by nearly a second from Sascha Lenz, and he's hoping to repeat that today and not have a boost pipe failure like he did in the first race of the weekend. There he is then from the pit wall, screaming across the line, using all 1,200 horsepower. You can hear the crowd, listen. Crowd going mad in the background with the air horns and cheering you like. Fantastic stuff, great support from all of his home fans. The only Hungarian driver in the field as well, so they've not got options to choose from, really. They'd be spoiled for choice if they were looking for German drivers, because we've got a bunch of them in the field. But Norbert leads then. Leads the train, at least. Look at the lean through there. I was saying yesterday that he seemed to be putting a lot more pressure on that front right tyre mid-corner. A little bit of a kick out from the rear end. Sascha Lenz there following along. But Norbert right now, absolutely on it. I mentioned yesterday that these trucks can share the same body language as other cars, such as GT cars or touring cars. You can see the way that the vehicle is behaving and moving around, and they are very much a visual spectacle like any other sort of racing machinery. There's Teo, sorry, I keep doing that to him, don't I? It's Antonio Albacete, followed by Jochen Hahn, then Andre Kurzim, and there is Adam Lachko as well, who lost a big chunk of bodywork yesterday after some contact with Jochen Hahn, after a great battle between the pair of them. As they all make their way up, there's René Reiner. Good to see him at least back out on circuit. But there is Norbert Kisch coming down towards turn 12. Tight right-hander, hard on the brakes. You really need to get a good run out of there and set yourself up for some strong momentum through turn 13. But you can see the way these trucks accelerate. I've spoken to a number of people since finding out I was going to be commentating on this series and going through everything with the guys behind the scenes. I've said to everybody, you really underestimate how fast these trucks are. They are so quick. They do 20 to 100 miles an hour in the same time as a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And they weigh over 5 tons. It's unbelievable. Norbert Kisch then, across the line he goes, 2 minutes 17.6. Now, I could tell you if that was quicker. It is quicker, 2/10 quicker than Sascha Lenz. So Sascha keeping him honest at the moment. Albacete, some 7/10 off that. Jochen Hahn, 1.3 seconds off that, with a 2:18.9. Kurzim, 1.9 seconds off. So every single truck that goes through is getting slower and slower. We've had a time removed there, have we? Yeah, Jochen Hahn's time was removed for some reason. His time has been taken away. Interesting. Lachko goes 4th fastest, 1.1 seconds off. Kurzim stays 5th. Brereton goes 6th. Steffi Halm is currently 7th, ahead. So actually, no, she's just been beaten by René Reiner. Calve goes 9th, and Jochen Hahn stays 10th. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now I'm going to have a quick look here and see what we have about any decisions that are made during this session, because I'm pretty sure I've had the wonderful Barbara has sent me a link to all of the results and decisions and things that are made afterwards, and I'll keep my eye on lap times and things on the timing screen that have been deleted here. But that's very interesting for Jochen Hahn, 6-time champion, of course. And out of the 9 previous seasons, he's only either finished 1st or 2nd in the championship. He's a real star. Everybody now doing their cool-down laps again. What we saw yesterday was that they'd do a fast lap, have this cool-down lap, and then they'd go for another final flying hot lap. Jochen Hahn was the man that unfortunately made the mistake into turn 1 yesterday and messed up his lap. The fans waving away. Great to see them all. Hello, everybody. And there's some fantastic Norbert Kish fans as well. You can see them all there wearing the team attire, and there is their man in the number 41 truck, driving for Revesh Racing Team, as you see on the banner there as well on the windscreen. Now, Antonio Albertetti and Jochen Hahn doing exactly what they did yesterday in Superpole. Jochen has made his way further towards the front of the train. He was the first truck across the line for his final flying lap yesterday. I'm wondering whether he's going to try and do the same again. I don't really think he's got time to get in front of Norbert Kish. So Norbert will be the very first one to lead them. It seemed like there was some sort of advantage to being the first one out based on the times, but it seemed also that it was just they went out in the order that they qualified in earlier. So, through the final corner then, a long, wide entrance into the corner for Norbert Kish. And the same for everybody else. Look at them taking a very, very late apex there. There's Adam Lachko in the Freightliner, Sascha Lenz in the MAN. Bunch of MAN trucks in this championship. Then you've got Steffi Howman just behind as well. Shane Brereton not leaving much space there, quite interestingly. A lot of the time in qualifying sessions like this, you leave a lot of space around you ahead and behind to make sure that if there is any difference in pace, you don't catch anybody in front of you and you don't get caught. But Shane Brereton very close. Now, Jochen Hahn is ahead of Norbert Kish. So Norbert's clearly had an issue somewhere already at turn 1. And Jochen Hahn is ahead on the road and absolutely going for it as well. He needs to severely improve that time. But here he comes then up towards turn 4, throws it in through the kink. The truck looks so planted, but at the same time you get that little bit of body roll into turn 5. Takes an early apex, lets it run away from the inside of the corner a little bit. Uses all of the road on the outside as well. Down towards the chicane at turns 6 and 7. Very important part of the lap. He seems to not take much curb on the first bit and then really chucks it over the curb on the second bit. Does the same again. Now into the very difficult left-right complex. A lot of black smoke there coming from Lachko's truck. Now, there is a black smoke rule in this championship. They're all trying to keep things clean. And, of course, they all run on biodiesel as well. So you get infringements, basically, for having black smoke emitted from the truck. You get a warning on the first instance, and there he is, actually, behind Norbert Kish. So it looks like the Hungarian has taken pole position at his home circuit. And he'll be very, very pleased. That's the second time this weekend he's done that as well, though, don't forget. They pull into the pits now. Probably not even knowing the news yet, but straight in, straight through to the paddock and, of course, through to scrutineering. So Norbert Kish will take pole position for round 3 of the 2021 FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And very, very well done indeed to Norbert. And it's the same front row as we had yesterday, Kish and Lenz. And then Albertetti in the number 23 will line up third ahead of Adam Lachko in the number 55 truck. Jochen Hahn will not be pleased really with 5th place. He's alongside Andre Kurzim in the number 11. Row 4. You can see that even though these trucks are obviously smaller than the ones that you'll see on the roads, they're still a hell of a lot bigger than every other bit of racing machinery that you'll see. They're incredibly compact little things as well. I'll say little relatively, of course, to other trucks that you see. But they certainly do shift for their size. It's great to watch. When we see some of the onboard shots, you can see there as well the complex roll cages that they have inside the cabs. Norbert Kish signalling something to the team or scrutineers Not quite sure what there, and it doesn't really look like a fist pump of joy to say, yes, we've done it, we're on pole position again. That was more like a, come on, like, hurry up sort of gesture, wasn't it? You can see the wonderful train of yellow trucks on their way round the left-hand side of his shot there, which is quite intriguing. And there we go, Norbert Kish climbing out of his truck now. He'll be very pleased to have gone back to the top of the times. But this time, only 0.2 of a second between himself and race 1 winner yesterday, Sascha Lenz. So he's certainly going to have to keep an eye on his mirrors this time around. He's giving some feedback to his team there, of course. And there you go. We have an entire herd of trucks, as we could call it, making their way round. Horns sounding as well. I believe they're making their way around to then go into the paddock. Back around from that side of the circuit. Now, I've never actually visited the Hungaroring, so I'm not 100% clued up with the layout. I would love to go there one day. It's one of my very favourite circuits. It's been known as Monaco without the buildings by a lot of drivers because it's so difficult to overtake there, in the likes of something like Formula 1, for example. But I think that sounds like a Formula 1 problem to you and me. Most of the circuit, of course, while it's in a valley, most of the circuit is actually visible from any point around it. About 80% of the circuit can be viewed from most points, which means it's fantastic for spectators and fans alike. And there is Norbert giving his team the fist bumps. And Christina's with him now.
Hello, Norbert Kish, back again. Saturday, which means we got a brand new day, brand new hopes, and let's forget about everything about yesterday. You are the pole setter, which means you had to go to the scrutineering first. You are 0.6 seconds faster than yesterday. Congrats.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a little bit colder now, so everybody's a lot faster than yesterday, and also it's tighter than yesterday, so it's pretty close again. And yeah, but I'm happy with the pole position. Like I said yesterday, this is what we need. This is what we want to do, and yeah, hope to stay in front and hope to finish the race this time.
Yes, you said it is very close. Lenz is 0.2 seconds just behind you, as you said. So what do you suggest? How it's going to be at the race? Close as well.
Yeah, I mean for sure the start will be tight, just like yesterday. Yeah, but you know, like I said, I try to stay in front. At the start, I need a good start. I need to make a good start, and then see what happens from there. I hope in the race pace we are still looking good. So I think on the long run we should be better than on the qualifying. But you know, we'll see.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Just to keep the audience knowing, yesterday you had a problem with the pipes. Let me just check you very fast. You need to check the pipes right now.
Yeah, no, now they don't make that checking in the scrutineering, but they did yesterday, so they don't look at the pipes now. So yeah, it should be all right.
That sounds good, because just to inform you, yesterday Norbert Kish had to stop his truck in race 1 due to a pipe problem. But as you hear right now, everything is solved. He's in a good mood right now, the local hero. So that's good news.
Brilliant stuff there, Christina. Thank you very much. Always good to have a bit of a driver insight. You can see the massive camber that they run on these wheels as well. Now, when you see the wheel straight on, it doesn't seem that bad, but when the wheel turns, the amount of camber that gets applied to make sure that the tyre sticks to the road as much as possible is very, very apparent. And these are very thoroughbred racing machines, and I think they look fantastic as well. You know, they've got a lot of real estate for liveries and designs and so on, and logos as well. Obviously very good for the advertising side of motorsport, of course. Our cameraman getting a lovely look round the pole sitter, the number 41 man of Norbert Kish. He's had fantastic pace in previous seasons as well, and I'm sure that he's going to be very, very excited to try and continue that through the rest of this season, obviously with no issues like yesterday, really. And there he is right now as well, giving journalists some words of potential wisdom, just explaining his situation, how qualifying went for him, how he feels. It's a very busy time of day to be a racing driver straight after a qualifying session like that. Here's the wonderful parade of trucks around the circuit right now, of all shapes and sizes. Mainly yellow, I can tell you that much. This is just an awesome advert for the entire industry of trucking. Of course, the FIA European Truck Racing Championship, very proud of its One Truck Family slogan. Listen to the horns being sounded as well. It's absolutely great. Absolutely great. But either way, that is now the end of the first broadcast of the day. As mentioned, if you catch us at about 20 past 12 local time, 20 past 11 UK time, we will be back with you for race 3 of the championship. I've been Chaz Draycott, and I will see you again very, very soon.